continuing with my series of Pirates of the Caribbean reviews leading up to Dead Men Tell No Tales, I'm reviewing Dead Man's Chest. Now, The Curse of the Black Pearl was a really big success with both critics and audiences, and so hype for the sequel was exponentially high. But when Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest came out, people weren't really so sure of that, and now today a lot of people really don't like that movie. But personally, it's actually my favorite out of all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Now, a lot of people's main complaints were that Jack Sparrow is so predictable now. Like, we know what he's going to do now. Yeah. It's called character traits. Every character has traits that we're going to see again. For example, in the Star Wars movies, Han Solo has always been like this guy who... He's a hero, but he's still sort of a dick and has a lot of snarky remarks. Batman, in almost every incarnation he's in, is always being psychologically challenged. So, why are you surprised that Jack Sparrow is doing similar stuff to what he did in the first movie? Because that's how his character is. And there are, maybe once or twice he comes off as a little bit too stupid, but he's still the same character from the first movie, which is kind of important if you want to keep him Jack Sparrow. But however, there's one character that goes toe-to-toe with Jack Sparrow as to who is more cool, and that's Davy Jones. My God! Not only does Bill Nye... No, not that Bill Nye. This Bill Nye. It's spelled differently. It's a completely different person. But not only does Bill Nye give a really good performance as Davy Jones, but the visual effects done for this guy are absolutely phenomenal. In fact, I heard that back in the day when this movie came out, people were unsure if that was CGI or if that was makeup. Of course, we can tell it's CGI now, but not really because it's bad, but... we've been exposed to CGI so much that we can tell when something is CGI, even if it's really good. Not a negative towards those CGI things. It's just natural. It's just part of our natural brain. That's nothing the visual effects can really help. Unless, they're, extremely noticeably bad, or it just takes us out of the movie. But now with Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest, the visual effects are just astounding. And people also complain that the practicality in Curse of the Black Pearl wasn't in Dead Man's Chest. Are you sure about that? Because, yeah, there's a lot more CGI, but they still use a lot of practical things. Like, for example, the ships that still sail around are still practical. In fact, they do even more than in the first movie, because now we actually see the ships just shooting each other with cannons, and it still is really practical. And even with this one scene where the Kraken is just crashing its two huge tentacles down onto the ship, the tentacles are CGI, but that ship is actually being destroyed. They just took these two blue screen pillars and just smashed them onto the ship. So, there's still a lot of practicality going on, there's just still some CGI to make it blend together, which, I'm perfectly fine with. I love it whenever they can cross over CGI with practical effects. And also, sort of like Curse of the Black Pearl, this also has a story that is complicated enough for you to look around for answers and whatnot, and you sort of get those answers, but it's still easy enough to follow. A lot of people disagree with me on that, but I don't know, I guess I follow movies easier. There are a few things that get a little bit too confusing, like Liar's Dice. I've tried doing the research. I have no idea. I still have... I might know a little bit more about how they play it, but even then, it's still confusing because there's 5 8s, 6 7s, or whatever it is, and I'm like, what? I have no idea how this game is played. It's so confusing. I get the whole, calling somebody a liar if they don't really have that kind of number, but still, it's... Oh God, it's a little bit too confusing for me when it comes to that scene. Oh yeah, and right back to the visual style of the movie. Another thing I gotta give props to, the makeup effects. There's a lot of CGI in this movie, but when you look at Bootstrap Bill Turner's makeup effects, they're incredible. I'm surprised the movie didn't get an Oscar nomination for makeup effects. I mean, the next movie did, I think, but no, not Dead Man's Chest, which is surprising because I thought I thought the makeup effects were amazing. I remember when I said that Elizabeth Swann gets more badass in these movies as they go on. Yeah, she gets really badass in Dead Man's Chest. Like, she's actually swinging her sword around and actually fighting people. Like, that's awesome. It's really cool seeing the character progress like this, becoming more badass. I also like how a lot of the characters are going through things. Davy Jones, as I said before, is a really great character, and he's on par with Jack Sparrow in this movie. And not just because he's like a really threatening presence, but Davy Jones is very tortured, because once you hear his backstory, you can sort of see where he's coming from in all of this. Especially at the very end. I'm not going to say what it is, but yeah, I can tell why he's pissed off in this movie. There's not really much more I can say about Dead Man's Chest. It's just a really cool movie. I really love this movie. And like I said, it's my favorite out of the entire franchise so far. The CGI effects hold up a lot better than the first movie. For the most part, the physics are pretty good, except for this one scene where Jack Sparrow gets like run over by this huge water wheel or whatever it is. Yeah, he should have been dead. He should be dead right there. There's no way he would survive that. But in any case, I really love Dead Man's Chest, and so I'm going to give Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest a 9 out of 10. So yeah, a very underrated movie for me. I really, really love Dead Man's Chest. It has its problems, but you know what? Like I said, it's the best out of the franchise for me so far. So, what do you think of Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest? Let me know down in the comments, give this video a like, share the video so we can get the channel circulated, and if you want to see more, click this.